So this is how my layout is looking here. I made a couple of very, very minor adjustments. I decided to go ahead and throw 10 pixels of padding on the left and right sides of my main content area. So if you want to have a quick look at my code, this is what I wound up with. And all I did was right there, padding left and padding right, which meant, of course, I had to reduce down the overall width by 20 pixels, of course. Anyway, I hope that's all good. You can monkey with your layout a little bit if you like. I want to talk just a little bit about an area that we didn't really spend very much time on, and that was working with lists, both numbered lists and bulleted lists, or in the world of HTML and web design, unordered lists and ordered lists. And I want to show you a couple of neat properties, a couple of neat CSS properties and values that we can use for controlling both numbered and bulleted lists. And I also want to start getting into creating navigation menus and even buttons using HTML lists. It's pretty awesome stuff. So let's dig into it here. As always, I'm going to start off nice and easy and we'll get more and more complex as we go along. So if I scroll down inside my content, as you can see, below the first paragraph of text, I have the list that we were working on earlier, the 4 attractions that I created for Toronto. So St. Lawrence Market, Harbourfront, CN Tower, and of course the Royal Ontario Museum. So if you want to take a quick moment and code this out yourself on your side, go for it. Note that each item is contained inside the LI element, so the list item element, okay? Now, once I have my list items in place, I have to decide if I want to create an ordered list or an unordered list. And there's a bunch of different list types in HTML, but ordered lists and unordered lists are the 2 most common lists that you're going to use. There's definition lists, and as I say, there's a few others, but these 2 guys are the most common. So if I want to set this up to be an unordered list, what I would do is above the first list item, I'd go open angle bracket UL, close angle bracket, and then below the last list item, in my case, Royal Ontario Museum, I'd make sure to close the UL element by throwing in the closing UL tag, okay? That's pretty simple. We saw this earlier. It's fairly straightforward. We're not talking about anything too insane at this point, and of course, there's my bullets. No big deal, right? Pretty easy. If I want to instead use a numbered list, or once again what HTML and what web design would call an ordered list, what I would do is simply switch UL to OL. Now I have to make sure to change that for both the opening tag and the closing tag, of course. Save that up, back over to the browser and refresh, and voila, we now have a numbered list. Very lovely. So this is pretty easy stuff, and I'm just kind of getting you used to working with these just to make sure, once again, as always, that we are both on the same page. Now I'm going to switch these back. I'm going to go back to an unordered list to a bulleted list because there's a variety of CSS properties, as promised, that I want to show you that we can make use of when we want to go and format a list. So let's go and take a quick look at these CSS properties.